Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Another bar gets raided on Walking Street, Red Street, whichever one you want to call it. This one has a bit of a twist to it as well. So let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay, so the other night, another bar got raided on Walking Street. And this is not the first time that this location or this bar has been shut down. However, there are some new twists to this. First off, the information I have is from multiple sources, but none of them actual law enforcement. I'm going to tell you that right up front. It hasn't hit the news just yet. I haven't seen it on the police blotter. I haven't seen it on the city Facebook, the police Facebook, or anything else. However, I was able to contact a couple of different people, one of which was actually down there when this transpired. So, what's different about this? Well, there's no shortage of stories of the bars on Walking Street getting raided, and there's no shortage of why. But this one's a little different. This one's different because this seemed to have been spearheaded by the NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation. And that's important. But secondly, I want to point out what happened here that's important, number one. And then number two, how it's going to impact foreigners. And it certainly did the other night. So they raided a bar. During that raid, they gathered up everybody. And when I say everybody, they gathered up for the first time, to the best of my knowledge, they actually carted off customers. So they've got the entertainers, the hostesses, the door girls, the security guys, the management on staff. That's not unusual. They'll cart them all. But to the best of my recollection, I don't remember them carting up the actual customers. Now, I'm going to make some assumptions here. I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking. And in the comments below, you can tell me what you're thinking. First off, this is a Korean owned bar. This was the Sensations Bar over on Walking Street, Red Street. That being said, it is a predominantly Korean clientele. Now, I don't know what happens with what, but I will tell you this. When the NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation, is involved, this is no small matter. Usually when we see these things, it's the local Philippine National Police in to conduct this, along with the City of Angeles Police. Very once in a while, you might see DEA roll up later. Maybe I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen a DEA truck down there, but they had NBI vehicles down there. That means they had fully armed, almost SWAT like personnel doing these raids. And how does that impact you? Well, they hauled off the customers. And I think it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. All right. I am never condoned anything to do with minors. Now, I've heard that there are currently, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm sure others, all right, multiple stories, but somewhere between supposedly 3 and 10 minors were involved. Now, they're going to have human trafficking charges. They're going to have minors in the bar. They're going to probably have some ancillary stuff that deals with hygiene. They're going to have some other stuff that's going to probably deal with IDs, and then they're going to have other stuff, sanitation, stuff like that. But let's just say you're a customer. What kind of trouble could you possibly get in? I mean, you went into a legal establishment. How responsible are you? Well, let's just say you went into this legal establishment. And let's just say there was an undercover agent, which I am sure there were, at least one or two, probably at least two, because everybody needs a backup, all right, in that bar prior to the raid. And they're watching people. That being said, you're sitting there with one of these young ladies. Let's just say it turns out she's a minor. Well, first off, you're going to be associated with, all right? That possibility exists that you are now part of human trafficking. All right? Are you are you guilty by association? Is that a possibility? That's the first thing. The second thing is let's say you're buying her drinks. All right? You're buying those lady drinks. Well, is that going to be aiding and abetting to the delinquency of a minor? Now, the Philippines doesn't actually have a law that is specifically titled delinquency of a minor, but they do have the Child Welfare Act. All right. And in addition to that, there's human trafficking. Are you going to be associated with that? Are you now complicit with that? Now, you're going to say, well, you know what? I went in that bar. They were all supposed to be of age. The law is they have to be XYZ to work there. How am I supposed to be responsible? Ignorance is no excuse for the law. All right? You can't claim that excuse anywhere. Breaking the law is breaking the law. So you don't even have to bar fine them. And that's not against the law. Paying money for someone to spend time with you is not against the law in the Philippines. Now, we all know what the pay-for-play issues are. We all know how that works. We all know it is ridiculous. We all know all the ins and outs about that, and we don't have to cover that, all right? But what we are saying is now, is it now changing? Is the game changing? Well, the first thing is we've got a new mayor. Now, he's not in office yet, but it's coming. The second thing is I can't help but think that it's a strong possibility that this may have been linked or somehow associated with this most recent drug bust down in Koreatown. All right. Now, the house that they busted, for those of you that don't know, 350 pounds of shabu or crystal meth or meth, all right, in this one house that was being leased by a Chinese guy. But when the house of cards start to fall, the rats all run, and people are going to be turning over evidence any chance they get to avoid prolonged jail exposure. Could they be saying something matched up with this? For the NBI to get involved, for the NBI to be as blatantly publicly involved, they are setting an absolute statement out there. They are absolutely saying we're drawing a line. We're drawing a real line. Now, is it just because they knew there were minors or they thought there were minors? I don't know. At this point, there's no proof that there were minors. Now, I suspect there will be later, all right? But at the time of this video, there's no proof. Was it a fact that they know somebody there might have been associated in some way, shape, or form with this shabu crystal meth house that got popped? Is it an issue? But more than all of that, they're busting or they're apprehending and holding foreigners. That is the information that I was given, that they actually had foreigners that they carted off. And one of my sources, which is a very reputable source, who was there, said they took all of them, all of the customers that were in there at the time. I do not know for sure if they took them all, but I do feel confident that they did. What does this mean? How does this impact you? Well, I can tell you a couple things right now. Maybe you might want to be a little bit more careful about who you're buying drinks from or who you're buying drinks for. Or if you know that the bar that you're going to is breaking the law by allowing things to transpire. And we know, you can read between the lines. All right. We know it's common knowledge what happens inside some of these bars. All right. Not that we've ever seen it or anything like that, but there's so many stories out there. There's got to be, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's got to be some truth to this. Are you now at risk of being a party to an illegal issue? By being in there, are you aiding and abetting an illegal enterprise? This is going to be interesting. And you know what? I would say this. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and hit the notify bell, because we are definitely going to follow this and follow up. And you might want to get notified as to when we do. All of this, what do you think? I know we have subscribers that go to the Korean bars. We do not. We do not go to the Korean bars. We don't really go to that many bars, period. All of that said, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What have you heard? What do you disagree that the strong possibility of human trafficking, strong possibility of girls working against their will, girls or women, I shouldn't say girls, women, all right, involved in anything else? Do you think that there are drugs in these bars? We've never seen it, but we don't go to the Korean bars. All right. And I'm not saying the Korean bars are the only people guilty of this. I'm not. But that's who's getting raided. I mean, if you look, the Stars Club, another Korean bar, all right, on Walking Street got raided almost a month ago, and they're still closed. They still haven't been able to open back up, or nobody's willing to open it back up, or whatever. I don't know. I really and truly don't. We would really like to know what you think. What do you hear? What have you heard? Do you believe that there's more to this story? And if so, what? But I would leave you with these very, very important facts. Number one, to the best of my knowledge, I've never heard of the NBI being so present that they have their vehicles and their full SWAT-like assault rifle people out there during a raid. Number two, that meth house that just got busted. Number three, are they hauled off customers, that they took customers with them. Um, you know, with all of that being in there and the fact that there were more than likely minors involved, is that going to change your bar hopping? Is that going to change your thoughts about going out for a cocktail? I don't know. Certainly it's something to think about, isn't it? I wouldn't want to be spending the night at Station 4 or in any other station police situation. Certainly wouldn't want to be a part of it. Let us know how you think and what you think and how you feel. Otherwise, thanks so much. Have a great day. Be good.